We have some exciting developments today for Tesla stock investors. The new Model 3 Performance, dubbed ludicrous, spotted for the first time fully uncovered. Initial noticeable difference versus the long range is performance seats, wheels that have aero caps, red brake calipers, front splitter, ludicrous badge on the rear, lowered suspension, and a rear spoiler. I'm sure there's many others, and the performance, well, is probably going to have a lot of performance aspects related to it that we just don't know yet. Given the fact the upgraded Model 3, the wait times continue to get pushed out further, Tesla just raised prices on the white interior option by about $500 and just raised prices on the long range variant about $250 or so here in the US. All of that signals really good demand. Not to mention global inventory numbers for the Model 3 are even lower than the Model S and the Model X at about 1,500. It seems like Tesla just can't produce the Model 3s fast enough for customers here in the US. And I think that's also something that is notable to point out, because the most important market for Tesla for a very long period of time, besides last quarter, was the US. Last quarter, there was more deliveries in China. Every other quarter besides the last one, the US has been the most important. Now, we don't get any data on the US on an inter kind of reporting basis, right? We don't get weekly insurance registrations. We don't get daily registration numbers. We don't get none of that. So we just kind of have to look at what is going on as far as inventories and trend data and try to figure out if the US is seeing good demand for Teslas in any given quarter. I would say, yeah, this quarter could be impressive for the US. Let me know down below in the comment section if you are interested in purchasing the performance version of the Model 3 and what you think the pricing will be for this vehicle. What pricing would be reasonable for you to purchase one? Orbital Flight Boogie said him and his wife saw this white Cybertruck and she was asking who makes this truck, and to her surprise it was Tesla. I guess apparently they currently own a Model S, but his wife now wants to get a Cybertruck, and I think you might see quite a bit of that just with the halo effect when it does start. It's going to take some time until we have enough Cybertrucks out on the road for an actual halo effect to happen. But I think this is something that is not priced into Tesla stock as actually having a realistic possibility of happening. Just beyond that, I think the white Cybertruck looks sick. 156 Cybertrucks have been spotted at Giga, Texas today, many at the outbound car carrier lot. This is a new record. This is also something that is not priced into Tesla stock as a possibility that Cybertrucks could ramp faster than expected. If that happens, you're going to see less of a cash burn due to the Cybertruck ramp. That means potentially more profitability and higher revenue and higher deliveries for Tesla. Because let's be honest, at the same time people say there's a demand problem for Tesla, Tesla has 2 million pre-orders for the Cybertruck. You can make an argument that maybe half of those will actually convert into real orders. That's still 1 million deliveries. That's over half of last year's total deliveries that are waiting to be fulfilled, that are dependent on the Cybertruck ramp. And nobody really wants to wait 4 or 5 years for their Cybertruck if they're ordering one now. So hopefully, I'm optimistic that the ramp for the Cybertruck can go faster than what Elon and the team had explained on the last earnings call. And did you know Kim Kardashian charges $2.1 million for a single sponsored post on Instagram? She already posted about the Cybertruck twice. This is free advertising for Tesla to her 350 million followers. Interest in Kim Kardashian's post about the Cybertruck may attract new visitors to Tesla's website, creating a halo effect for the brand. The exposure could lead these visitors to discover the great Model 3 and Model Y pricing, potentially boosting sales, at least in theory. And it looks like Jay-Z and Beyonce have taken delivery of a Cybertruck. He wrapped it in matte black. Let me ask you, why are all of these celebrities getting the Cybertruck and, well, obviously customizing it the ways they would like and posting it on their, follower pages, right? Instagram, whatever else, other accounts, because they like it, right? They think it's cool. They're just the ones that get likely early access to these products. Average people have to wait a while. But I think if celebrities are head over heels rushing to get this product, I think a lot of people are going to follow that. Wall Street Journal auto columnist Dan Neal, after his 48-hour thrashing of a Tesla Cybertruck, said, "It's the hardest damn steal I've ever seen." I'm going to play this clip. It's about 2 minutes long. I find it interesting that the Wall Street Journal is saying anything positive about Tesla and the Cybertruck.
In Texas, it's been nearly 3 months since the Cybertruck rolled off the assembly line in Texas. Tesla CEO Elon Musk touted the pickup's horsepower and bulletproof doors, but what's it really like to actually drive one? Well, the Wall Street Journal's Dan Neal took the Cybertruck for a spin. He pushed Tesla's pickup truck to the ultimate limit in what he calls a 48-hour thrashing. Dan Neal joins us now. Thank you for joining Last Call tonight. Your article, by the way, was fantastic, hilarious, insightful. I loved every word of it. And the fact that you rolled a Cybertruck off the side of the road and survived, that is a story. Please tell it.
Thank you, Eamon. I appreciate you saying so. And when you're talking about rolling, one of the sort of subtle things about the Cybertruck is because the battery is in the bottom, it is very hard to tip over. So it has a side tip angle of something like 80 degrees. And chances are, if we had been in another conventional kind of monster off-road pickup truck, let's call it, it probably would have rolled.
We're looking at a picture now of the truck, pitched to its left off the side of a dirt road. And you said you ran into the trees on the other side of that truck on the left-hand side. And smashed up the side.
That's actually a little bit, it's in mid-recovery right there. We had actually managed to move it up the hill a little bit, but it was very close. And, of course, I thought it would be a very unfortunate headline if I should actually...
Columnist dies in advanced truck?
Yeah. I thought not
a great headline for you, anyway. Might get some clicks.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
So
that's right.
This is a $100,000 truck, though, right? The one that you drove. So
it is. It is.
Who's going to drive it like that, though? You're going to be like the dad in Ferris Bueller's Day Off who had the Ferrari. You're going to just polish that thing with a diaper, on a stand. You're not going to drive it in the woods crashing into trees, are you?
I am, and you've just put your finger on exactly the cultural, fissure that we're talking about.
Okay.
And that's why people have a hard time dealing with this thing, because in many ways it's more of a real SUV or adventure pickup than anything on the road. Why? Because you can scratch it and you don't have to worry about it getting dirty. Yes, fingerprints show up, but light ammo doesn't. You could hit this thing with 1 million shopping carts and it would never have a dent. It's the hardest damn steal I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In anything. And so and we have this cognitive dissonance, and there's a lot of show ponies out there, big SUVs, 4x4s, big tires and stuff like that, and they never off road. Why? Depreciation.
Russell here on X says he was at the Auto Show Canada show yesterday where the Cybertruck was there, and there was a lot of desire for people to buy a Cybertruck in Canada. Rowan Patel, and he essentially asked if the Cybertruck will be coming to Canada and why it's being delayed so far. Rowan Patel says, "No doubt we will sell Cybertruck in Canada. Insanely huge interest. Have to file some routine paperwork, but hoping that can be wrapped up soon." Tesla will reportedly start Giga Mexico construction on March 3rd, according to the governor of Nuevo Leon, Samuel Garcia. This is actually huge news because we have had no idea when Giga Mexico construction would actually start, and that's been a little bit of a setback because even if the Tesla team starts producing the $25,000 vehicle in Texas, well, one, it's going to be hard to get good margins on that because, everything's going to be cheaper to do in Mexico. So margins are not going to be great on these vehicles produced in Texas. And they're already trying to ramp the Cybertruck in Texas. They're already building other vehicles in Texas. You need a factory dedicated to this $25,000 vehicle. And the only factory right now that seems feasible is Mexico. Because let's be honest, the $25,000 vehicle is not going to be sold here in the US for a while, for a great deal of time, because the US consumer has more money to spend on a vehicle. Tesla's not going to sacrifice the Model 3 or Model Y market in the US until they absolutely have to. So I think the $25,000 vehicle is more so for other countries, at least initially, that maybe are not in the markets to even purchase a Model Y, just based on affordability prospects. Some parts of China could even be a reasonable market for the $25,000 vehicle. India, if we ever get those tariffs kind of settled out, some countries in Europe, right? You need to get these vehicles produced at a lower cost for it to be economically feasible. And hopefully margins on it will be 20-25+%. And that would be a big win for Tesla investors. But the longer it takes to get up and running on this factory, the longer it takes to get to Tesla's next growth wave. So essentially, the faster this factory gets built, the better off you will be as a Tesla investor, even if it costs a little bit more via financing cost to start now rather than wait 6 months. You're still better off starting now. BYD unveils a $233,000 supercar to rival Ferrari and Lamborghini. I literally almost stuttered at that. Holy moly. $233,000 EV supercar. China has a market for that? That's kind of insane. The car can hit 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles per hour in 2.36 seconds. I think you got to do that's really fast. Let's be honest here, right? But I mean, the Model S Plaid, I would want something at least comparable to that, 0 to 60 in like 1.9 seconds. But hey, that's just my opinion. And reach a top speed of 309 kilometers an hour, they said. Wall Street Journal writer Dan Neal in his Cybertruck review says, quote, reports of surface oxidation have been gleefully megaphoned by social media as cyber rust. You can see fingerprints. Bruh, do you even hear yourself? First, stainless steel never was or will be stainless. Ask the Navy. Second, most bully 4x4s you can see on the road never leave asphalt. You're going around dressed like Porter Wagner at the Grand Ole Opry and you think you're a real cowboy. Oh, that's a funny that's a funny segment of this report. He's basically saying with the Cybertruck, you can actually go out and bang this thing up if you want to, and you're not gonna bang the car up, right? That's why people actually can take this thing off-road, and it's a viable option for off-roading. And he really pushes back on the whole oxidation and rust theory. I'm sure Tesla hasn't specifically said this, but I'm sure there's some kind of coating or something that prevents rust from actually, happening. If not, I mean, that's a simple fix anyways. Tesla can slap a coating on there and not get it to rust. It's pretty simple. I think rust is the last thing that people should be concerned about or calling out about the Cybertruck. Getting into everything. Holmar's catalog says the Cybertruck is a hit, and Elon Musk responds and says, until you drive it, you don't realize how fun it is. BEV share in Norway reached a record high of 92% in January. Tesla's global inventory numbers show a slight deceleration for the Model Y, slight uptick for the Model X, a continued downtrend for the Model S, and a slight uptick for the Model 3. Google Trends data continues to be robust for the Cybertruck. Now it's sitting at 27, slightly under the Model 3 and the Model Y. Now, if you're comparing total search trend activity to the Cybertruck. I think the Cybertruck will cross the Model 3 and the Model Y in due time, and that's when I think we'll really start to see the halo effect actually taking place. The Model 3 search trend activity recently went from 35 to 37. Model Y search trend activity went from 38 to 35. And Tesla continues their advertising campaign, running about 2,000 different ads with Google. Sentiment for Tesla today, Tesla stock is neutral at 48, which is better than yesterday at 46. Message volume is at 52. Yesterday it was at 57, so a little bit lower there. And the participation ratio is still at 54, which is almost high, technically categorized as normal. This is great because a lot of people are talking about Tesla stock now, and that's kind of a precursor you need for a rally in the stock, is people at least talking about it, and that tends to feed into a higher stock price. Option activity last week in Tesla stock was very positive. To the call side, you had 65.85% open interest. To the put side, 34.15% open interest. So there was 2 times as many calls bought last week than puts. That's very strong. Now, your option activity on Friday, which is, in my opinion, a better indication of, again, what's going to come in the next couple of weeks, was very, very positive as well. You had 583 orders totaling about $305 million. These are orders from hedge funds and institutions. These are not retail investor kind of trades here. These are hundreds of thousands of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in each of these trades. You had a positive order value of 65%. So it seems like last week, hedge funds, institutions, just call it big money, well, they were pretty bullish on Tesla stock. You did have 10% cost to borrow fees on Friday, as well as Tesla stock fell like 2.5%. So there was a lot of shorting activity taking place in Tesla. Currently, there is 3.28% short interest of free float, with almost $18 billion worth of short positions in Tesla. The percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average was about 0.68% higher on Friday, about 1.33%. Now at 51.79% of all stocks above their 50-day moving average, which is way off of the 86% of stocks that were above their 50-day moving average back on December 28th. That was really before the dollar started to see its climb back here. I mean, this was December 28th. You've seen the dollar start to climb. You've seen the average stock declining. Question really is, are the markets going to come down? Because it's really big tech and AI that are holding things up here. I think March 12th will be a very big day for the AI semiconductor trade. You'll also get CPI coming out at that point. And if you're unfamiliar, March 12th is when the SoftBank ARM lockup period expires. SoftBank owns 90% of ARM. Their ARM position is worth more than the entire company value of SoftBank. So there's no question. SoftBank is going to sell some ARM. Do they nuke the stock, or do they just sell a little bit? I think that's the bigger question. Either way, I would expect some kind of a breather moment for AI names, for your GPU names. Next week, we are going to have a ton of economic data that will be coming out. And yeah, it's going to get pretty interesting. But nonetheless, for Tesla stock, as far as a technical basis, the RSI is at 43.41. Normally, you get about a 30% rally once you get out of oversold in the RSI. Oversold in the RSI is 30. So usually when you get above that, you tend to rally about 30 to 40%. That would put Tesla stock at about $225 if you rally 30% from the 175 low. I think ultimately that will happen. Question is, when does that happen? Now, in the very short term, you can see a solid uptrending line here. You tested this on Friday. If you fall next week, well, that's not going to be great for this trend line. We have an inverse head and shoulders pattern that was recognized here, a shoulder, inverse head, shoulder. Tesla stock rallied 6% when this pattern was fully formed, and then you've kind of been selling that off. Question is, again, does Tesla continue with this inverse head and shoulders pattern and fill that gap up here at about 207. Call it roughly 210 as just a good psychological level, and that's still yet to be known. If you look at the MACD is still -5 and the signal line is -7.5, so definitely some room to run there on the MACD as well. You're not even positive yet. So that's going to do it for this video. We have a lot to cover in the next video. You definitely don't want to miss it. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, come see my hedges that I put on my portfolio to hedge for any potential market downside. And next week, I mean, there could be some serious market downside. Check that link out down below in the description of this video. We are doing all kinds of trading activities over there, and you definitely want to be involved with us. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and follow the X account as well. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to do that. I do share a lot of my opinions over there, a lot of charts, a lot of other people's opinions, hedge funds, institutions, what they are up to, what they are doing, what they're saying about the markets. It's a great place to be overall as well. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.